Hello friends, today we are going to discuss with the next session on delays and attributes. Myself Professor Nitin L. Ahire, MET Institute of Engineering, Nasik. Delay statements. What does it mean by delay? Basically, the most fundamental non-synthesizable piece of code is a delay statement. The most fundamental non-synthesizable piece of code is a delay statement. The FPGA has no concept of time, so it is impossible to tell the FPGA to wait for 10 nanoseconds. The FPGA has no concept of time, so it is impossible to tell the FPGA to wait for 10 nanoseconds. Instead, you need to use clocks and flip-flops to accomplish your goals. Instead of that, you have need to use the clocks and flip-flops to accomplish your goals. Here, below is an example of non-synthesizable code that has been converted to code that can be synthesized by the tools. So first, non-synthesizable delay statement. Here we have declared r_enable equal to 0. Then wait for 100 nanoseconds. Then again declare r_enable equal to 1. Now we have to convert to synthesizable code, assuming that 100 megahertz clock should be there. So here we have write down one process for that, the clock process. So process in bracket clock, then begin if _rising_age clock, then if rising_age clock is available, then index is less than 10, then index is equal to index plus 1. If my index is less than 10, then index is equal to index plus 1. So r_enable is equal to 0, else index is equal to 0, so r_enable is equal to 1. In this way, we have to convert that particular non-synthesizable statement into the synthesizable code. So after that, whatever the statements we have open, end if, 2 times if we have open, so 2 times we have to end with if, then end the process. In this way, we are having with the codes. Now, what exactly delays in VHDL? In VHDL, there are 3 types of delay that are encountered. First, inertial delay, transport delay and delta delay. Inertial delay, transport delay and delta delay. These are the list of delays which are included in VHDL. So in that, very first we are going to study about that, the inertial delay. Inertial delay is the default in VHDL. Inertial delay is the default in VHDL. It behaves similarly to the actual device. It behaves similarly to the actual device. Output signal of the device has inertia. Output signal of the device has inertia which must be overcome for the signal to change the value. The inertial delay model is by far the most commonly used in all currently available simulators. The inertial delay model is by far the most commonly used in all currently available simulators. Here we have considered one inertial delay example. Here we are having with that one buffer is there. So it may having input A, input B. In between that input and output, there should be having delay is equal to 20 nanosecond. So for that, here we have shown that the timing diagram for A, initially it should be 0, after that 20, after that it is logic high for 10 nanosecond, and then again it is back to 0. So here B signal is there, means the output is delayed by 20 nanosecond. So here whatever the pulse will be started over here, it will be exactly delayed by 20 nanoseconds. So for that we have written down the program library IEEE, use IEEE.standard_logic_1164.all, entity buffer is port A in standard_logic, port B out standard_logic, end buffer. This should be the end entity. Then architecture buffer of buffer is begin. B is equal to A after 20 nanosecond. What the B? B is equal to A after 20 nanosecond. Then end buffer. Here, due to inertial delay, pulse is swallowed up. So no pulse will be appear. So due to inertial delay, pulse is swallowed up. So inertial delay prevents prolific propagation of spikes throughout the circuit. Inertial delay prevents the prolific propagation of spikes throughout the circuit. Then we have to go for transport delay. Transport delay, it represents a wire delay in which any pulse, no matter how small, is propagated to the output signal delayed by the delay value specified. Especially useful for modeling delay line devices, wire delays on a PCB and path delays on an ASIC, application specific integrated circuit. So here we are having with that one timing diagram. So here for 12 nanosecond the signal should be logic 1, then 8 nanosecond again it is logic 1, then again 3 nanosecond the signal is logic 1. So here we have shown three outputs. S output is equal to transport delay. S output is equal to transport sign. This should be sign after 10 nanosecond. Sign after 10 nanosecond. So here my output will get delayed by 10 nanosecond. So S output is equal to transport sign after 10 nanosecond. So all the signal may get delayed by 10 nanosecond time period. So second example, S out is equal to reject 6 nanosecond inertial sign after 10 nanosecond. S out is equal to reject 6 nanosecond inertial sign after 10 nanosecond. So here inertial delay they have explained. So whatever the signals in input there should be having below the value of 6 nanosecond, the signal may get rejected. So because of that here only these two pulses will be appeared in the output, and last one that is below the value of 6 nanoseconds. So because of that it may get rejected. Here S out is equal to sign after 10 nanosecond. Sign after 10 nanosecond. So here below the value of 10 nanosecond all the signal may get rejected. So only 12 nanosecond pulse will be appeared across an output. So here we have shown the one program related for transport delay. Here again one example, A and B input, A is input, B is output, and delay is 20 nanoseconds. So library IEEE, use IEEE dot standard underscore logic underscore 1164 dot all entity delay underscore line is port A is in standard underscore logic, port B out standard underscore logic, and end delay underscore line. Here entity will end. Then architecture delay underscore line of delay underscore line is begin. B is equal to transport A after 20 nanosecond. B is equal to transport A after 20 nanosecond. So in the earlier example, same example if we consider, so here the pulse will get rejected, but here if A is high for 10 nanosecond to 20 nanosecond time period, and here pulse will get delayed after 20 nanosecond. So here pulse will get exactly delayed with 20 nanosecond from this location to this location. If you see the location, so this should be having total 20 nanosecond time period is there. So the pulse will get delayed with 20 nanosecond after A. So B is equal to transport A after 20 nanoseconds. So in this way the transport delay should be explained. So pulse is simple delayed. Here again we have combinedly see that what the transport and inertial delay. Again we have see that transport and inertial delay. Here one of the example for input X is equal to 0 for 10 nanosecond after 20, again for 10 nanosecond it is logic 1, again 10 nanosecond it is logic 0, then 3 nanosecond it is logic 1, again 2 nanosecond logic 0, 5 nanosecond logic 1, and again 10 nanosecond it is logic 0. In this way your input signal should be there. So here we are having with that the three conditions: transport delay, inertial delay, and delay with specified rejection pulse width. So first example we consider for Z1. Z1 is equal to transport x after 10 nanosecond. Z1 is equal to transport x after 10 nanosecond. So here my pulse will get shifted from input 10 nanosecond. So output will get started from exactly after 10 nanosecond of initial pulse or input pulse. So here 10 nanosecond it is positive, again 10 nanosecond it is logic 0, again 3 nanosecond, 2 nanosecond and 5 nanosecond. In this way, same as input, it may get transmitted, but only the delay should be included, that is exactly 10 nanosecond. So have you understood related to transport delay? Then go for inertial delay. Inertial delay we have declared Z2 is equal to x after 10 nanosecond. Z2 is equal to x after 10 nanosecond. So here my pulse will get started exactly after 10 nanosecond. But below the value of 10 nanosecond, my output will get rejected to the input phases. So here 3 nanosecond, 5 nanosecond, here 3 nanosecond and pulse will get rejected. 3 nanosecond, 5 nanosecond, all are get rejected. Only 10 nanoseconds should be available in inertial delay. So below the value of given, the data may get rejected. So here only 10 nanosecond will appear, remaining below the value of 10 nanosecond all are get rejected in inertial delay. So Z3 is next, we have to go for Z3. Z3 is equal to reject 4 nanosecond x after 10 nanosecond. So here delay will get appear for 10 nanosecond, same as it is earlier case, delay will be appear for 10 nanosecond, but whatever the pulses which are below the value of 4 nanosecond, they only get rejected. So here 3 nanosecond and 2 nanosecond will get rejected, but 5 nanosecond will get appear after 10 nanosecond. So here the total value, these 10 nanosecond will appear over in this particular period, okay, and these 5 nanosecond will get rejected, because here rejection value should be 4 nanosecond, and above the value of 4 nanosecond, that is 5 nanosecond, so it should be appeared over here exactly. So in this way we are going to know about that what should be exactly transport delay and inertial delay. Everyone get understood about the transport delay and inertial delay. See that transport delay is like that, it will simply delay the signal, but in inertial delay it may reject that particular signal, whatever the signal which are showing in a statements. Then delta delay, last, delta delay. These are used since the PC that processes and simulates a concurrent phenomenon is basically a sequential machine. These are used since the PC that processes and simulates a concurrent phenomenon is basically a sequential machine. The simulation program mimics concurrency by scheduling events in some order. The simulation program mimics concurrency by scheduling events in some order. Simulation deltas are used to order some types of events during a simulation. Simulation deltas are used to order some types of events during a simulation. Specifically, zero delay events must be ordered to produce consistent result. Specifically, zero delay events must be ordered to produce consistent results. Here one example we have shown that circuit that shows the difference. Here we are having with one inverter, one NAND gate is there, one AND gate, and one of the D flip flop we have shown over here. So consider clock is equal to 1. If my clock is equal to 1 and if A is equal to 1, so here the signal will be 0 because of the inverter. So again here that signal will be provided to NAND gate and AND gate. So for the explanation purpose, here we have considered problem statement when no delta delay concept is used. When no delta delay concept is used. Here we are having with A input is there and clock signal is there. So A becomes 0. So my output will get or be equal to 1. If A is applicable to 0, so output should be B is equal to 1. It is inverter term is there. And if my clock is available, so we have to evaluate and with C is equal to 1. Evaluate and with C is equal to 1, because if both the signals are available, then and then my clock should be available. Have you understood? If what should be the AND gate? If both the signals are both the inputs are available at the input terminal, then and then my AND gate should be equal to 1. So then and then my clock is available. So that is the way. So evaluate NAND gate. If my C is equal to 0, so evaluate AND gate, D is equal to 0. D is equal to 0. So here unwanted D assertion should be there. So here unwanted D assertion should be here. Now the next topic should be attributes. An attribute is delta. An attribute is data that are attached to VHDL. An attribute is data that are attached to VHDL objects or predefined data about VHDL objects or predefined data about VHDL objects. Examples are the current drive capability of a buffer or the maximum operating temperature of the device. An attribute is data that are attached to VHDL objects or predefined data about VHDL objects. Examples are the current drive capability of a buffer or the maximum operating temperature of the device. Types are data attributes, signal attributes, and user defined attributes. Types: data, signal, and user defined attribute. Attribute is a data that are attached to VHDL objects or predefined data about VHDL objects. Data attributes. First we have to go for data attributes. The predefined synthesizable data attributes are the following. D low returns lower array index. D high returns upper array index. D left returns leftmost array index. D right returns rightmost array index. D length returns vector size. D range returns vector range. And D reverse underscore range returns vector range. In reverse order, returns vector range in reverse order. Now we have to consider one example. Consider the following signal. Signal D, standard underscore logic underscore vector 7 down to 0 semicolon. Then D low is equal to 0, D high is equal to 7, D left is equal to 7, D right is equal to 0, D length is equal to 8, D range is equal to 7 down to 0, and D reverse underscore range is equal to 0 to 7. So this should be the example for declaring the signals. If the value is of enumerated type, then D value position returns value in the position specified. D position value returns the position of the value specified. D left of value returns value in the position to the left of the value specified. D value row column returns the value in the position specified, etc. There is little or no synthesis support for enumerated data type attributes. Signal attribute. Let us consider a signal S. Then S event returns true when an event occurs on S. S stable returns true if no event has occurred on S. S active returns true if S is equal to 1. S quiet time returns true if no event has occurred during the time specified. S tick last underscore event returns the time elapsed since last event. S tick last underscore active returns the time elapsed since last S is equal to 1. S tick last underscore value returns the value of S before the last event, etc. These are the some signal attributes. Let us it is only a simple statement: event, stable, active. Sometimes it should be written for the attributes. So one of the example, all 4 assignments shown below are synthesizable and equivalent. They return true when an event, a change, occurs on clock, and if such an event is upward, in other words, when a rising edge occurs on a clock. If clock tick event and clock is equal to 1, event attribute used with if. If not clock tick, stable and clock is equal to 1, stable attribute used with if. Wait until clock tick event and clock is equal to 1, event attribute used with wait statement. if rising underscore age clock call to a function. User defined attributes. This should be the last attributes, user defined attribute. VHDL also allows the construction of user defined attributes. To employ a user defined attribute, it must be declared and specified. Attribute declaration. So here is the syntax for attribute declaration. Attribute, then attribute name, colon, attribute underscore type, semicolon. Attribute specification. Attribute underscore name of target underscore name, colon, class is value. Where attribute underscore type, any data type, be it integer, standard underscore, logic underscore, vector, etc. Class means type, comma signal, comma function, etc. Value 0, 27, 00, 11, 0, 1001, etc. Likewise, we have to declare. Example: attribute number of inputs, colon, integer. Attribute number of inputs of NAND 3, signal is 3. Input is equal to NAND 3 tick number of pins, attribute call returns 3. Then here some questions related to the topic. List and explain different delays involved in a chip design. Second, what is attribute? Explain its types. Now tomorrow onwards we have to go for next topic, that is VHDL program examples. Thank you for the day.